It's your boy DJ Wolf here on a Tuesday, March 13th, 2018. Oh man. You know, I was watching this video last night. It was actually a movie. One of the independent companies do black films. And of course, with like a lot of these independent companies who do these black films, of course it involves a lot of gratuitous violence. Which takes me back. Oh man, let's get back here. Hey, where's the light? Takes me back to a subject I talked about 3 years ago, and I'm thinking about seriously revisiting. I entitled it "The Slavery Mentality." For me, when I refer to the slavery mentality, I'm referring to us trying to keep each other in line. And I don't necessarily mean keep each other in line. I'm talking about controlling our thought process to where people, in your communities think you should only be thinking a certain kind of way about certain kind of things, and like, for example, you thinking about getting your education and thinking about your future endeavors in terms of doing something positive, doing something career-wise, all of that. And you got your homies back there thinking, hey, man, let's go get high. Let's do something stupid, do something outside of that, man. Or not thinking, that maybe they think you're trying to be something you're not. In other words, they're trying to get you to think that it's all about what y'all doing in the streets and nothing else. In other words, they try to get you not to think outside the box. If you become a follower and not a leader, that's when you run into that problem. If you're always following what somebody else do and not thinking about what you need to do for yourself, to me, that's a bit of a slavery mentality, because whatever they do, you want to do, and not try to follow your own path. That's basically what I'm trying to say. To me, that's a slavery mentality. Especially when you're old enough to follow your own path. The problem is we got too many followers and not enough leaders. We got too many people who are out here trying to follow what somebody else do and not take control of their own lives. Not out here trying to do their own thing, but do it based on what somebody else said you should be doing out here. So people telling you that you ain't good enough to do this or you ain't good enough to do that. I watched a piece with Tyler Perry when he started out doing his thing. I forgot what he used to do before he became a playwright. But he felt, based on what I saw in the interview, that was his passion. Okay? To talk about other people in his communities, to talk about what influenced him and what didn't. To talk about him following his dream. And he did. And now he's a mogul because he didn't step back on his dream. A lot of us get conned out of our dreams. It momentarily happened to me. I wanted to become an artist. I'm talking about literally an artist. that does graphic design, stuff like that. I wanted to do that for years. I still do some of that now, with the help of programs I use on through Apple and through my my Apple products that I use. Matter of fact, if you go to my YouTube page, you'll see it. It's a prime example of what I use. I like doing stuff like that. I have for years. I wanted to do it full time, but not just as doing graphic arts, but as an artist. Period. And I was told, that I wasn't all that great by one of my own family members. I thought I was decent. I know I wasn't the greatest, but I thought I was decent. And I was actually told that. Yeah, I actually was. So your art's not all that. I was kind of hurt because I went to I got a scholarship from it was a summer scholarship from the Cleveland Institute of Art. And I'm gonna tell you how passionate I was. I walked 45 minutes from my house off of 123rd in Superior, all the way up to Euclid in 115. No, 100, about 110, something like that. No, it was past 110. I walked a long way out, and every day, back and forth. I didn't have a problem with it. That was my passion. That's what I did. And I talked about in another podcast, you can't let your neighborhood define who you are necessarily. In other words, you can't, just because everybody doing what they're doing out there doesn't mean it's something you have to do. You can actually think outside the box if you want to. And you shouldn't care if people don't like what you think outside the box about. It's your dream, it's your passion. Go for it. Because I was in a situation like that. I wanted to think bigger than just getting a job at a factory or just getting a job flipping burgers. And I actually, I flipped chicken, but almost the same process. But I worked at a fast food joint for about 6 months. I couldn't take it. I was like, no, I can't do this. This is not my future. There's no way I'm gonna be trying to do this for the rest of my life, and call myself trying to raise a family behind it. This is another thing that people, and that's why I'm saying, for people that think they should be getting paid $20 to fry chicken, something you can teach a 10-year-old to do. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. I totally do not agree with that. And I know some people, you got families that depend on that. No, fuck that. If you have family depend on that, then they need to do more than just fried chicken. I know for myself, I just didn't want to do it. It wasn't something I wanted to do. I had more in me to do than just fried chicken. That's part of the problem. A lot of us don't like to think outside the box. We like to be contained, when it comes to stuff like that. Because you go with a mentality where people say, no, I can't do this, or you can't do this, and you can't do that, and you roll with it. Because you let people control what you're thinking inside the box instead of you thinking outside the box, instead of you thinking that there's a chance that you could do something better. And that's what I did. I think in our society, in our culture, we look for the simplest things to do to get the money the fastest way. We do. And that's through everything. Think about it. And we're happy with that. Some people just happy not doing much. I've never been one of those people like that. Ever. And that's part of our problem. That's part of the problem of our culture. Well, look, I'll give you an example. Okay. I'm from Cleveland, right? So, up there, there were, when I was a kid, there were tons of factory jobs, man. They had factory jobs here, supermarket jobs. They had jobs everywhere at the time when I was very young. And it was thriving. The part of town where I came from was thriving. Big time. It really was. But what happened was, when they started downsizing these jobs, these manufacturers started moving stuff overseas because they felt it was cheaper and they wanted to bust the unions. Jobs slowly diminished. And within about 25 years, those jobs were gone. Neighborhoods started decaying. People started moving out the neighborhoods. House market fell out the bottom. Crime went up. And what do we do? Prior to all of that, buy big cars. Buying houses, not building. We didn't. We're too busy trying to be consumers and not being builders. That's exactly what happened. We were too busy being consumers and not being builders. Therefore, that's actually what got us in trouble. And we allowed that. One thing that bothers me though is I hear young people saying, "Man, there ain't no jobs out here." No, there's jobs out there. There just ain't no jobs out there for you that you would regularly get. But there are jobs out there. There's jobs in technical fields I see all the time. Problem is, a lot of us don't want to think outside the box. A lot of us don't want to put that work in. You gotta put the work. You gotta put in that work. I did it for 2 years. Kicked my ass. I got to see my son maybe 3 days out the week. I went to school 3-4 days out the week, man. I was missing him terribly. Some people are like, "Dang, what's that?" No, it is worth the sacrifice. I can tell you that right out front. But it bothered me a lot though, man. It's like, man, I was just missing it, man. It's just like, it made me sad. It really did, but I had to do what I had to do. Only thing about it was I was in my 30s when I did it. I should have been doing it sooner. That's the other thing. People wait till the last minute to do everything. Don't do that. Because that's when you'll really miss out. The old saying goes, do it while you're young. But we like to mess around and do it when we got 3, 4, 5 kids. And that's where you're getting the deeper hole right there. A lot of us, we want to do all the party and bullshit beforehand. And then oops, you got a family now. Now you got to go out there and get a job. Now you go get the first little job you can get. And then you try to struggle and then do all this other stuff. Instead of just doing what you should have been doing in the first place. Getting your education. That's one thing about my parents that has always stressed. Get your education. Put everything else behind. Get your education first. Do all that other stuff after you get your stuff right. That's how it is. A lot of us, we do it the other way around. I mean, this is honest conversation. I have to be honest about it. I know some people don't like listening to what I'm saying because it's the truth. The truth hurts. But it's the reality of it. And some of us decide, well, I don't want no job. I know people like that. Some of us, I know people who just got on disability. Young people under 50, people under 40. Some people under 30. No, ain't be nothing wrong with half of them. I was like, really? At least not to a point where you can't work. To me, it's ridiculous. And you have some parents that actually condone that shit. This I know personally. I just shake my head. that's what leads me to another thing I talked about putting all your eggs in one basket. I call it the JJ mentality, or the JJ rule, where the first one is the one to get everybody out the door. The first one is the one that helps get everybody out the ghetto. Crab in the barrel mentality is what they also call it. You know, I went through it. I know another guy went through it. I know a few people have had to deal with that kind of stuff in their family, where they don't stress the same type of rule for everybody else in the family except the one. And so, oh, well, he gonna do it. But the other one, nah, whatever. I don't know. He ain't gonna do shit. You should stress. And I told somebody one time, look, you don't just stress it to one child. You stress it to all of them. You know, and I think that's where it's fucked up. We, as a community, we as a people, gotta get our head out of fucking asses. I mean, seriously, because there's too many of us just like, oh well, fuck it, I'm gonna do that. You know, and although I do blame young men for not trying to step it up and want to follow instead of lead, because you got too many followers out there. Nobody's trying to use their own mind and think outside the box. Some of this stuff do fall back on the women. I just don't lie. It is. Some of it really does. You know, you got a Me Too mentality when you're struggling, but yet, when you ain't struggling, when you're out there partying, bullshitting, and you know you got to control your own body, and you have to say something whether you want to have kids or not, but you keep on falling down the same path every time. And that's why part of this situation is out of control, because we got too many young people who do not have fathers because the mothers made bad choices. And that is a part of the problem. I know some people, well, it take two to tango. I've heard this bullshit before. Yeah, it does take two to tango. But one of us got to know when the other one is the right choice or not. That's what keeps that mess going. Too many bad choices. Period. You know? Messing with the wrong damn people. Period. Not waiting until you get your act together. Period. That's the problem. That's what creates a lot of drama in our communities. You know? And that's where I thought of that. And some, and much of it does lie on the women. The same women who are, when they get in trouble, all of a sudden, oh, time's up, Me Too, and all this other shit. Now, let me clarify something. There are women who have been in legitimate situations regarding the guys like Harvey Weinstein or somebody. That's different. Okay? Or you got women who've been abused in their families or abusive relationships. All right? Those are different issues. That's when I can understand that. But you got other women in other situations who use that as just an excuse to say, oh yeah, it's everybody's fault except my own. You know? All they want to do is party and bullshit. But they use that Me Too movement as an excuse to say, yeah, it's all y'all men's fault. Y'all got it, you know, I'm struggling, blah, blah, blah. I got 5. There you go. I got 5 kids, all that other stuff. I don't want to hear that. You right where you at because that's the situation you created. For many of y'all. That's a fact. You know? And that's also a big part of the slavery mentality. You know, where the slave owners, slaveholders was having black women breed kids so you can go sell them off. You know, that's a slavery mentality. And many of the women end up being single mothers. You know, almost the same mentality, except it's 2018 and the government is paying you. Damn. How much of a difference? And then the kids who ain't raised by fathers, many of them, they get into situations that get them in all kind of trouble. And here comes the prison complex, where they make money off of you too. in the form of contractors who build these jails and put your kids in there. And guess who benefits? Not any of y'all. But the contractors who get them to make these products in prison and sell them right back to you. And in turn, your kids end up suffering because of choices that many of y'all made. The bad choices many of y'all made. That's facts. Well, I'm going to get off my soapbox. And I'm not saying it, and I know some people are, well, you just need to bash black people. No, I'm not. I'm really not. I'm saying because I'm being honest about the things that I see every single day. And I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of seeing, us treating our people in our own communities like shit because half of us don't have the respect. Half of us was never taught that, And some of this is from bad mistakes that adults have made. Bad choices. Bad influences. And you know where it comes from? Not thinking outside the box. This is DJ Wolf. That's all I got right now. Live podcast is coming this week. I'm hoping that I was supposed to do one last night. Supposed to this Sunday. Hopefully I'm going to try to set some time this week. I got some other things going on. And I'll talk about that soon. DJ Wolf, I'm out.